Imagine for a moment that you're witnessing something extraordinary. A child is born. A new life enters the world, gasping its first breath. Eyes blinking open into a place it's never seen before. There's no instruction manual, no roadmap, just a body and a spark of something more. It arrives untouched by titles or status, stepping into a world already in motion, into wealth or poverty, health or sickness. And yet, by the very act of being here, this child claims something profound. It has the right to exist. It doesn't need permission. No government decree, no contract, no social validation. That first breath isn't just a beginning. It's a declaration that this life, with all its possibilities, belongs here. The moment this child emerges into the world, it claims the right to life. But what does that mean? It's not just about breathing. It's about everything that keeps those lungs moving. Food to nourish it, water to sustain it, air to fill it, shelter to protect it. Life isn't a passive gift. It's an active process, a daily negotiation with the world. The right to life isn't handed down by a king or a constitution. It's not a privilege or a gift from society. It's born with us, etched into our very being. No one can take it away because it's not theirs to give. It's ours from the very first gasp. But to keep living, this child needs more than air. They need a space to call their own. Now picture this child a few years later, clutching a stick they found in the dirt. It's not just a stick, it's their stick. They carved it, carried it, made it part of their world. This is where the right to property begins. It isn't about mansions or bank accounts. It's about the space we need to survive and thrive. To live, we need tools, a stick to dig with, a patch of land to grow food on, a roof to sleep under. Property is the extension of life itself. If someone snatches that stick away, they're not just stealing an object, they're threatening this child's ability to shape their existence. That's why property is a right. It's the boundary we draw around our lives, saying, this is mine to use, to build, to be. Think of a tree. It doesn't ask permission to grow. It extends its roots, drawing nutrients from the soil, reaching upward for sunlight, drinking in water from the rain. This child has the same right to reach into the world and claim what they need. And because this tree is free to grow, it gives back. It offers shade, releases oxygen, nourishes the soil with its fallen leaves. Its existence isn't just about survival. It's about contribution. So too with us. When we're secure in what's ours, when we can freely use our resources, we create, build, innovate. We farm, teach, heal, inspire. Just as the tree provides for the ecosystem around it, so too does a person. But survival and contribution aren't the end. There's a deeper question calling. So let's fast forward. This child, now a young person, is standing at the edge of a vast, messy, beautiful world, asking big questions. Is there something more than survival? If all we did was eat, drink, and sleep, existence would be nothing more than a mechanical repetition of need. The real question, the question that drives every human being, is why? Why am I here? Why was this child born? This is the moment we discover the next fundamental right, the right to explore our purpose. Not everyone arrives for the same reason. Some are born into wealth, surrounded by abundance. Others land in struggle, with nothing but their wits. Some come to create, others to endure. Some to heal, others to break things apart and start anew. These differences aren't mistakes. They are what bring meaning to life. Our purpose might be to climb to the top or sit quietly at the bottom, to chase joy or wrestle with pain. The billionaire amassing empires and the homesteader living off the land, they're both right because they're both pursuing what they came for. We don't get to judge someone else's reason for being. What unites us isn't a shared destination. It's the freedom to chase our own. No government, no law, no ideology can dictate what this child's life is meant to be. And finding that purpose isn't always easy. Sometimes it demands a test we're born to face. Here's where we uncover a forgotten truth. Struggle is a right. We've come to believe that inequality is always injustice, that struggle must be erased, that fairness means everyone must arrive at the same destination. But not all people are born for the same purpose. Some are born into hardship, not because life is unfair, but because struggle is part of their journey. Some people need to experience adversity, poverty, pain, even oppression. Because through those experiences, they gain wisdom, strength, and resilience that others never will. The child born into suffering may one day rise with an understanding of endurance that the child born into wealth will never know. Yet today, we look at those who struggle and say, we have to change this now. We assume that if someone has less, they must be given more. That if someone faces difficulty, they must be rescued. That we must intervene, restructure, redistribute, erase struggle, rather than embrace it. But knowing that struggle is a fundamental right, instead of treating every challenge as a failure of the system, we recognize it as a necessary part of the human experience, one that some must endure and even seek out in order to grow. If we have the right to live, to own, to seek purpose, then we must also have the right to struggle along the way. Not every path will be easy. Not every journey will be smooth. And that has to be okay. To deny struggle is to deny the individual journey, the right to shape one's own life, no matter how difficult. But what if that child's struggle leads them further, into risks they choose to take, even at their own expense? What if that pursuit of purpose looks ugly? What if it involves mistakes or even harm to self? Here's where I want to dig into something radical. We have a right to harm ourselves. If I'm free to live my life, to explore my purpose, I have to be free to stumble, even to fall hard. Maybe this child chooses a path of risk, pushing their body or mind to the edge. Maybe they need to hit rock bottom to see the stars. That's their right because it's their life. If struggle shapes them, then the freedom to take it too far, to fail, to break, to learn through pain must be theirs too. But what happens when their choices reach beyond themselves, when their freedom touches another's? This child, now grown, isn't alone. As they carve their stick, tend their land, chase their why, they're surrounded by others doing the same. Each one shaping their own path, reaching for their own purpose. What happens when this child's exploration crashes into another's? If I chop down this child's tree to build my house or dump my trash in their river, I've crossed a line. Our right to live, to own, to seek does not include the right to take those things from others. We're equal in our freedoms, not superior to one another. This is where society intervenes. This is where governance, at its best, should exist. Not as a boss, but as a referee. Its job isn't to control or restrict, but to protect. Laws at their most fundamental level should only do one thing: ensure that your right to live, to own, to explore does not infringe on someone else's right to do the same. You may live as you choose, even harm yourself, so long as your choices do not harm or impose force upon another. We stand in a world full of choices: what to build, what to create, what to consume. But not every choice is equal. Some nourish, some harm. Some are built for health, others for addiction. And here, a new question rises. Should someone step in? Should someone take away the harmful choices, remove the dangerous paths, eliminate risks before they ever appear? Imagine our person, now standing in a grocery store, shelves lined with products containing chemicals banned all over the world. Artificial colors, preservatives, additives, ingredients not designed for health, but for shelf life and profit. People eat them, unaware or unconcerned about what they may contain. Over time, their health declines, disease rises, medications are prescribed, and the system profits. So the solution seems obvious: ban the chemicals, protect the people, force companies to make better products. But force is still force, even when disguised as protection. Now let me ask you, is the company that knowingly puts harmful chemicals in their products causing harm? Feels like the answer is obvious. Of course they are, right? They know what they're doing. They know what those ingredients do to the human body. Surely they are the ones inflicting harm. But no, they are not causing harm. Think about it. When does harm actually occur? At what point does injury take place? Nobody gets hurt when a company puts chemicals in a box. Nobody gets sick when a preservative is poured into a factory vat. No one falls ill the moment a product is manufactured, labeled, and placed neatly onto the shelf. Harm only happens when the product is purchased and then ingested. The moment of harm is not in the making. It's in the choosing. And choice is the dividing line between freedom and force. If we ban harmful chemicals, does the problem disappear? No. The corporations that thrive on exploitation don't simply give up. They don't shut down or suddenly develop a conscience. They adapt. They swap one chemical for another, they tweak formulas, change labels, and find the next loophole. They continue their business, still focused on shelf life, still prioritizing profits over people. By banning an ingredient, we don't eliminate exploitation, we prop it up. We help these companies survive their own failure, giving them a way to pivot rather than perish. But if we allow them to fail, that changes everything. The only thing keeping these companies thriving are their customers, the people. Here is where we must step up as people and claim our power. When people refuse to buy their products, when we reject unethical practices, not through laws, but through choice, then those who place profit over integrity don't adapt. They fail. And in their place, better companies rise. Companies that prioritize health over shelf life, nutrition over convenience, integrity over shortcuts. Companies that are focused on the betterment of people because we, the people, have chosen them. And this is where our true strength lies, not in forcing change, but in choosing it. Every choice we make is a vote, a voice, a step towards a world that reflects what we value most. We don't need to bend others to our will. We only need to stand firm in our own. The world shifts when enough of us choose differently. So let's circle back to that baby, that first fearless cry. They didn't ask for permission to be here. They simply were. From that moment, they carried rights to live, to hold, to seek, to stumble. And as they grew, so did their choices. They learned what was theirs and what was not. They carved a path, shaped their purpose, and discovered that some roads were hard, but they were theirs to walk. They faced struggle, not as a curse, but as a teacher. They took risks, made mistakes, and bore the weight of their own decisions. They understood that life is not about guarantees, but about freedom. The freedom to build, to fail, and to rise again. And when they looked out into the world, they saw the same story unfolding in every life around them. 1,000,000 different paths, each shaped by choice. Some walked in comfort, others in hardship, but each journey was its own. And that was the beauty of it. Because the power and freedom is not in what we are given, it is in how we choose to live. We are not waiting for rights to be granted. We are born with them. So live fully, live fearlessly. And if the world tries to control you, if the systems try to tell you what you can and cannot do, remember this: you do not need permission. You belong here. Thank you.